for squeaky chair. Hi there, welcome to the Liberty Brit. My name is Simon Godfrey. I'm a UK-born musician now living and working in Philadelphia, USA. If you want to know a little bit more about who I am and how I found myself for working in this city, I would suggest you check out my previous blog called Who the Hell is the Liberty Brit? That gives you a little bit more background information. With regards to future blogs, I'm kind of winging it as we speak because I still haven't worked out the workflow. My hope is it'll be once a week and I will settle on one day during the week in which to release it regularly. Right now, I really don't have any idea about how this is going to work. So as soon as I figure out exactly how I fit all of this in around my other regular activities, I'll let you know. So what did I do this past weekend? I failed. I nearly did something. I was due to do a photo shoot up in New York City. Coming! Okay, so today's the day. We're going up to New York. I think we're shooting in Central Park. So, I'll get my hat. So wish us luck. But unfortunately, I got a stomach bug. Or at least at the time, I thought it was food poisoning. But I think there is actually a bug going around at the moment because a couple of other people I've spoken to have already had exactly the same thing as I have had. So maybe it wasn't food poisoning, which is great because one of the places which I ate on that day is one of my favourite places to eat. It's called Winnie's down in Mannington, which is just at the bottom of the hill here. So yeah, I set out with all good intentions with my wife Stacey, and we got in the car and we headed towards New York. We were going to meet with a couple of friends of ours in Jersey City the night before because it was their collective birthdays and wedding anniversaries. But halfway through the evening, I started feeling really bad. I thought I'd just eaten a bad pistachio or something because we had a big bag of sort of trail mix as we drove up to New York. But as the evening wore on and we were just sitting at this table, it was a fantastic place, like a beer cellar type thing. I just felt awful. So I decided that I'd cut my losses and make my way home. But the thing is that that's really the last clear memory that I have of that evening. What happened next is kind of a blur. I remember certainly getting back to the hotel and crawling into bed and not feeling well at all. And then sort of having a fitful night's sleep. And the next morning I sort of woke up and I was feeling a little bit more compos mentis. So I was checking my phone and there was this video that I had made during the walk home. And I have no recollection of making this video. Oh man, you're not going to believe what's happened to me. I got food poisoning. I was out with some friends. I'm in Jersey City tonight. I just couldn't stand being there any longer. I threw up in the toilet. And I'm walking along and I heaved again on the side of the road and this cop pulls me over. And he thinks I'm drunk. And he says, no, I'm not drunk. I've got food poisoning. And he said, well, you sure sound drunk. I said, I'm English. Due to have a photo session today, but that's not going to happen. I'm not feeling very well. So, I'm going home now. I'm going to go and sleep. And that's as close as I'm going to get to New York City this weekend. So yeah, we had to abandon the photo shoot. I was bundled into a car by Stacey and driven home, and I just spent the rest of the time sitting in bed, feeling very, very sorry for myself. On a slightly happier front, Valdez. That's the band I'm in on this side of the Atlantic, and it's made up of Joe Cardillo on keyboards, Tom Hyatt on bass, myself, and the new guy Scott Miller on drums. Now, poor old Scott has probably felt his brain has been a little bit like a teacup and we're aiming a fire hose at it at the moment with the number of songs we've tried to cram into his head over the last few weeks. But it's been a bit of a learning process for us as well. We actually wrote the vast majority of the songs that we're currently doing about 6 or 7 months ago. Now, to just give you a bit of background about Valdez, it was started by myself and Tom. We actually met at a comedy club and my wife Stacey knew Tom, so she introduced us and we got on like a house on fire. Really, really similar sense of humour. And we got chatting about sort of, just music, and it just seems like every single thing that we loved, it like just snapped together. We had a really great time. I remember on that night we came back from the comedy club and we were talking till about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I always remember Stacey sort of like saying, guys, get a room for fuck's sake. So anyway, we got on really well, and we just started doing some open mic floor spots. Tom and I were performing some of the songs from my previous solo album, Motherland, and we just got on very, very well. And he happened to know Joe, our keyboard player, and he brought him down, and we just, again, the chemistry was just perfect. It worked really, really well. And so we decided to go out and do some gigs. Up until we met Scott, we'd been using a number of drummers, sort of like depping for the live shows, and it was working out pretty well, but we really wanted a permanent guy. Scott came down about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Again, Tom seems to know just about everybody in the Western world, and he said, I know a guy, mate, might be the guy. And he came down, and Scott was really on our wavelength, and again, chemistry is almost 90% in my personal opinion about what makes a band fun to be in, and to actually sit down with someone and play a set from start to finish has been really, really good. But I've had to relearn in some ways a lot of the songs because I've kind of forgotten the chords after I've recorded them. So one of the fringe benefits of working with Scott has been the very fact that we've had to relearn all of these songs, and we're learning them again as a unit rather than just piecemeal, learning a bass part here, a guitar part here, and that has really been the real joy. It's just fantastic. I haven't been in a band really since I left the UK. My last band was called Tiny Fish. This is a completely different kind of chemistry. I've known these guys for less than a year, and I've been incredibly lucky that I've managed to find 3 guys that have locked in with me. So that's it for this week. Join me again next week. I don't know what's going to be happening next week. We will find out together. Take care. Bye.